Hi guys, this video is going to be about everything I watched in January. I just filmed a what I read in January as well if you want to check that out. I will put the link for that either up here somewhere or down below in the description box. But I'm going to talk about everything I watched in January. It's actually quite a long list, so, I won't spend a ton of time on each thing, but let's get right into it. So I will be discussing films as well as TV shows and just giving you, did I like it, did I not like it, general opinions on that. First I have New Year's Eve, which I watched for a vlog, and I also watched Valentine's Day, Think Like a Man, What to Expect When You're Expecting, He's Just Not That Into You, Mother's Day, and Dog Days. So all of those I already have a whole, video discussing what I thought about them, so I will link that if it's available. But all of those were fine, most of them were rewatches, and they were just, the ensemble cast type of watch where it's a lot of well-known actors in one film with interweaving storylines, and this was kind of more based off of ones that were themed around like holidays or specific events or, stuff along those lines with romantic comedy aspects. My favorite out of all the ones I just mentioned was He's Just Not That Into You, and my least favorite out of those, the next thing I watched was this movie Cliffhanger, which has Sylvester Stallone in it, and it's an older movie from the 90s. It's about this guy that I don't know his actual job, I don't know if it's like, he's really good at climbing mountains, and I think he rescues people that kind of get like stuck in tricky situations, and he has a bad situation happen at the beginning of the movie, and he stays away from the job for a while, I believe like around a year, and then he's pulled back into it when there's some criminals running around on the mountains creating havoc. So this movie was very like action movie-esque, but I don't usually watch a lot of action movies. I like thrillers, and I do like action, but not like this style action. I really liked this one. It got a little gory at some points, like focusing a little too much on the violence, but I did like it. It was action-packed, let me tell you, and I love any movie that takes place, on a mountain because the stakes are just very high. So I did enjoy it, would recommend. Next I've been watching the show 911. Not the most recent season, but the season before, so I'm still catching up in it. I just watch it from time to time. I figured I'd throw it on here. It's a fine show. It's one of those things you toss on when maybe you're doing something else or like you're paying attention, but you're not like, you don't need to hear every line of dialogue and see everything that's happening. I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy the scenarios they get into and seeing them rescue people and stuff along those lines. So it's fine. It's a fine show. It's one of those, like, sometimes I'll toss on Chicago Med or something like that, and that one's fine, and it's nothing I have to, like, continue watching, but if I'm bored or if I'm doing something else and I just want some, like, something that I'm kind of watching, those are some shows I'll go to. The next one we have is very random, but it's Under Suspicion, and it has Morgan Freeman and Gene Hackman, and this was a different type of movie. Let me see what year this one was, because I know it's older. Oh, okay, so it's the year 2000, Under Suspicion, and it is about this murder, or these two murders of these young girls, and Morgan Freeman's character is this detective that has to interview his old friend because he suspects him of being the person responsible for the murders. So this movie is very slow moving, but it's interesting. Like, it still held my attention. It did not hold my husband's attention. He fell asleep, so I don't know. Make of that what you will. But it was good. Like, I enjoyed it. It almost felt like I was watching a play. It was very heavily focused on the acting, if that makes sense. Just tossing my glasses on for a minute because I cannot see. I'm trying to make sure my memory card doesn't just like stop or something. But yeah, it's very heavily focused on the acting, and the acting is really good. It just felt more like theatrical, like a theatrical performance that you would go see live. And most of it takes place in the same spot, like in the police department, I guess. So, I don't know, it was fine. It built up, and I didn't feel like the ending paid off enough. The ending was fine. It was kind of confusing, and I felt like it was almost rushed, or like they didn't care as much about the ending as they cared about the rest of the movie. But it definitely left me with some feelings, and I did feel for the characters, so I did enjoy it. The next few movies I was going to be watching for another vlog, but I put it on halt for a bit because I did not like any of these. So, The movies I am talking about are The Best Man, Love Jones, and Pride and Prejudice. And I think, honestly, I just wasn't in the mood to watch any of these, so I was, like, having a hard time paying attention. I don't think the movies are bad by any means. Like, they're not bad movies at all. It's just I wasn't in the mood for them, or maybe they're just not my type of movie. Like, Pride and Prejudice, I've never read the book. I've always wanted to, but I don't know, there's something, like, I've watched this movie before, and I did the same thing where I kind of paid attention, but I wasn't, like, fully invested into it, and then I was just a little bit bored. And I feel bad saying that, but I just could not get into it, and this is the Keira Knightley version I'm talking about. So I did make it through, but it was, I really couldn't get into it. And then I watched Love Jones, which I had never heard of before, but I was intrigued. So Love Jones is a love story about this guy that's trying to pursue this girl that doesn't really want anything to do with him. And yeah, I mean, there's really not a whole lot more to it than that without giving away a couple things. And this movie, I liked it a little bit. It was slow, it was a lot of talking, and I feel like I just wasn't in the mood for it. But I did like the ending, and like the last quarter of the movie, I was very much into, if that makes sense. But it took me, I just could not get into it before then. The Best Man, I couldn't get into at all. This was probably my least favorite of the three I've just mentioned. I couldn't get into it. It's a lot of talking. So The Best Man is just before this one guy's wedding, and it's like this whole group of friends. This other guy, who's a writer, drama starts to unfold. And I can't say too much, but it has to do with, like, love connections and being with people you shouldn't be with because they're with someone else, like that kind of thing. But as much as it sounds like it'd be like filled with drama, I just felt like it was, again, a lot of talking, a lot of back and forth. It was just very slow moving. And again, I feel like I personally just wasn't in the right mood to watch it. So that's on me. But I did watch it though. I watched the whole thing. All right, so next on the list, I have a TV show, The Good Place, season 1 and 2. I kept being told to watch this, so finally I put it on. It's one I watched with my husband, and it's good. I like it. I don't think it's, like, incredible, but it's definitely enjoyable to watch. I didn't really like season 2 as much, but I am now on season 3. I just started it, and I'm more into that whole thing. So season 1, I enjoyed. I'm, like, waiting. I feel like there's going to be a twist. And I'm definitely going to finish it. I'm going to finish all 4 seasons and see how I feel about it. But I definitely think it's one of those shows where it's okay if, like, maybe you miss an episode. You don't want to miss a bunch, but it's okay to, like, maybe miss a little bit here and there. It has some really funny moments, and I do really enjoy the characters. Next, I watched Safe Haven, which I did that for a vlog, and I really enjoyed it because I like that movie. I know it's like a Nicholas Sparks movie, but I personally enjoy the movie. I don't think it's incredible or anything like that. I don't know why I like it so much. I think personally, it's like nostalgic for me. I remember seeing it, and I remember like the circumstances around me originally seeing it in theaters, and for some reason I have good memories tied to that. So I don't know. I always just like it. I like Julianne Hough, and I pronounced her name wrong in my entire last vlog, so that's embarrassing. But I enjoy the movie. I enjoy her in the movie, even though I don't really enjoy her acting in the movie, so I don't even know what I mean by that. But I don't know. I like her. Yeah, it was fine. It was a good movie. Okay, the next movie I watched was Unfaithful with Diane Lane and Richard Gere. This is like, the way that it's filmed is a bit slow, but it's about this woman, and she randomly meets this new man, but the catch is that she's married, and, she has to make a decision. Should she pursue stuff with him? Should she not? What happens if she does pursue stuff with him? I can't talk. So this is a good one. It's not, like, top of my list, but it's a good movie to watch. It's kind of filmed in a way where it's, like, very artsy almost. And it takes a turn that, even though I've seen this years and years ago, I did not remember happening. And it makes things interesting. I don't know how I feel about the turn, but it's definitely good. It's a good exploration of this couple's relationship. Next, Unforgettable, which has Katherine Hagel and Rosario Dawson. I like both those actresses. I like to watch them in movies anyways. And Rosario Dawson's character is with this new guy, but the thing is, he has a daughter and an ex-wife, and weird stuff starts happening when she moves to this town with him where the ex-wife lives. And yeah, this movie is fine. It's one of those you just toss on. It's a thriller, it's extremely obvious. It's very predictable, I guess would be the better word, as to what's going to happen. And I kind of feel like they could have made it way less predictable if they had changed the way that they set things up a bit, and it would have made the movie so much more interesting. So I'm going to put a spoiler alert right here and what number to go to if you don't want the spoiler. Okay, so this movie, they should have made it seem like the ex-wife, Katherine Heigl's character, was like nice and supportive, and all this weird stuff happening to Rosario Dawson's character. We didn't know it was her. Like, they made it more of a twist, like more of like a, oh my gosh, it was her all along. But instead, they show it's her, you know it's her, so it's not as exciting or thrilling, and there's not really as much of a mystery. I feel like if they had made it so that we didn't know that she was the bad person or one of the bad people, Katherine Heigl's character, it would have been more interesting. Spoiler over. But yeah, it's a fun movie to toss on. It kind of reminds me of like a Lifetime movie-esque style movie, so it's fine. Next, and this was actually a surprise for me because this is one I've never seen. You'll realize I watch a lot of older movies that I've never seen, and this is Night at the Museum, which came out in like 2006, but I never watched it. I literally watched it last night, the last night of January, and it was so good. I just wasn't expecting to be into it. I enjoyed it. It's about this guy, he's struggling to find a good job, and he finds one at this museum, and then he realizes, because he's the night security guard, that the museum comes to life at night. So it's fun, it's funny, and it's heartwarming, and I really enjoyed it. So my favorite movie of the month is actually a rewatch, but to be fair, I haven't seen it since it came out in theaters. So that is The Town, and that came out in 2010, and I had seen it in theaters and then never watched it again. So it's been, 12 years now? I forgot most of the premise, but it is about this group of guys that live in the Boston area, the outskirts of Boston, and their job is to rob banks. That's just like what they grew up knowing how to do, and that's what they do. So it's about them, it's about, them robbing banks and this woman that gets involved, and that's pretty much what it's about. So it has Ben Affleck in it, and Jeremy Renner, and some other people, and it's very good, honestly. I just really enjoyed it. I didn't know if I was gonna like it watching it. I knew I had liked it before, but I really liked it. There's just so much action, but it's also, you got the romance, and then you have like the character development that I thought was good. If you can get past the ridiculous Boston accents, then I do think if you haven't seen this one, you'd probably enjoy it. And yeah, I enjoyed it. My husband, who fell heavily asleep while watching Under Suspicion, which I mentioned earlier, I put this movie on after, and we stayed up way too late that night, but he woke up and he was very into it, so I don't know if that gives it any more points, but it's just good. It's like one of those movies where there are some twists too in the story as well. There's like some stuff I wasn't expecting to happen, and I don't know, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a well done movie besides the accents, and I liked the action sequences, and it also had some really funny moments in it as well, so, and some sad moments, so a good movie overall. So that was my number one movie of the month. So thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to watch more movies, not movies, to watch more videos like this. And yeah, let me know what your favorite movie or TV show was in the month of January. And I'm curious, I want to know what other people are watching as well. So yeah, until next time.